short-stop physics today. Earth loses its magnetic field a few times every million years. We're overdue for that now, I guess. How bad would things get for our technological society if our geomagnetic field went for a short time to zero?
We can only speculate, of course, and I think we can hypothesize that there would be a dramatic increase in a lot of the energetic particles that are deflected by our magnetic field. And so there would be potential for some serious damages to our technological systems. Other space weather events might not be impacted. One of the concerns is what happens to the ionosphere during all of that. There are a lot of connectivities between the different altitudes of space. And so I personally don't know exactly how it would impact it. I'm only speculating, but I anticipate that certainly there would be a larger influx of energetic particles that would then and it's bound to happen sooner or later. It's happened repetitively over the millennia, and sooner or later it will happen again. In fact, I believe that the North Pole is moving quite rapidly. The South Atlantic anomaly is also changing position. So there are indications that the internal core of the Earth is a very dynamic and changing environment. But I'm not sure that anybody's actually predicted when this next event will occur.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, January 3rd, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome to part 4. Part 3 was supposed to be the last part, but you know, I do have a lot of news articles. I commented in the last video about how much news articles I've had saved up since the 22nd of December, where, you know, basically I posted, that was the last time I posted my news video. So I've had a lot of news kind of backing up, so to speak, and you know, as far as what I've been seeing going on, I also have had you know, a little bit more to comment on as far as my opinion goes on these news articles. We just left off with that video talking about the North Pole and some of its effects, and it was interesting that he was talking about the ionosphere, because a lot of what HAARP is all about is about the ionosphere. In fact, most of it is. And what the Department of Defense wants to do is create a military kind of what do you say, a weapon or just equipment or infrastructure, so that they can jam communications while at the same time being able to, in the event of some kind of cataclysmic crisis such as the one we just talked about, the military will still be able to have communications while their, quote, enemies won't, which is us, the people, right? So we don't have internet and our cell phones and our GPSs, they will. And so you know, when I heard that from that scientist, it made me wonder, maybe they do, you know, he said, oh, well, we don't know when this is going to happen. Maybe they do know. This is just speculation, just as he said. Maybe they do understand, the military and the government and the corporations, that there is going to be some kind of event such as the one that we were just talking about, the North Pole and the magnetic field being affected, especially the ionosphere, and maybe that's what HAARP is for. So, and they're sending all these satellites into space, and these NASA drone surveillance planes, these high-altitude airships, among many other things that have been going up in space the past year. And so maybe they are gearing up for something around 2012, 2016. And so I wanted to cover this. This is the galactic alignment, and this is what originally got me into the whole 2012, I guess you can say, event, or I mean, according to some of these people like the Aztecs, this is their culture, this is their history, and this is their this is the wisdom that they have, you know, that they've collected. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I mean, many people may die. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to predict that, but I'm just saying that there may be a lot of people that will die, but I don't think it's the end of the world. The Earth will, you know, weather the storm, so, you know, and they'll make it out alive. Anyways, this says here on December 21st, 2012, the long count calendar used by the ancient Mesoamerican peoples such as the Maya, Aztec, Toltec, and Olmec will end one great cycle of 13 tons, which is, according to this, 5,125.26 years. The creators of this system were able to calculate and track interesting cycles of nature such as eclipse, cosmic alignment, and conjunctions. It says here the winter solstice of 2012 will occur at 11:11. This is Mountain Time, and it says on a course 21/12/2012. And it says the same day the long count flips over. On that morning, the sun will appear to rise into the patch of sky we refer to as the galactic center or nuclear bulge. It is the location of the supermassive black hole at the center of rotation for the Milky Way galaxy. And it goes on here and tries to clear up some misinformation or disinformation, basically talking about how it's a conjunction and not a galactic alignment. It says this is not an alignment of all, or indeed even of the several planets on December 21st, 2012. Jupiter and Saturn will, however, be involved in an astrological formation known as Yod, the finger of God. The solar system will not be any closer to the galactic core in 2012 than in any other year, or in any way in a position which might affect gravity levels between us and the Milky Way's center black hole. There is no evidence of us aligning with the infamous but wildly mythical photon belt, with the location said to be marked by the star Alcon. We are certainly not orbiting this star in the Pleiades system, as some 2012 writers have additionally claimed. So you can go in there and check out. They kind of give you some nitty-gritty. But it goes in there and talks about from 1980 to 2016. It takes 36 years for the sun, basically talking about a half a degree in the sky and crossing the entire solar disk to the equator. And you can check this out. I'm going to keep moving because I want to finish up here. 2010, worst natural disaster year ever. This is where I didn't get to finish. I had to go so fast. Chinese weather manipulation experiments to increase. There's a mini ice age coming, says man who beats weather experts. Winds, cold blasts slam California after storm. Falling trees kill women. Snowboarder missing. Power outages reported. And next one up is Illinois. Illinois tornado winds measured at 136 miles per hour. And like I said, I was running out of time last video, and I didn't get a chance to explain it. But basically, we've been having a very cold winter here in the Midwest, as predicted by the Farmer's Almanac, which basically base all of their predictions off solar activity and not this global warming hoax. Anyways, it does kind of tie into this global warming hoax, because actually the spraying that they're doing, the weather modification, it's warming the planet. So if you just take notice and do a little observation yourself, you'll notice that when you see spraying, it'll be warmer out, that the snow will melt if there is snow. So just keep track of that, and then you can tell yourself that when they spray, it is warmer out. And in the dead center of winter, when these bastards start spraying, when it should be nice and cool and cold and snowy, they start spraying, and then they warm it up and they melt all the ice and all the snow, and they cause floods, and then they cause tornadoes and all this other stuff. So this is not natural. This is man-made. This is effective weather modification. UK offers troops. EU seek answers for snow and chaos. The snow is melting off London streets, but Heathrow Airport told infuriated passengers it won't restore full service until Thursday, 5 days after the 5-inch snowfall turned hundreds of thousands of holiday plans into a nightmare of canceled flights. So they were talking about bringing out the military. Heavy snow threatens Moscow airport. Winter in Russia has caused power blackouts in capital Moscow, threatening the city's busiest airport with flight cancellations. Dozens die of cold snap in India. At least 32 Indian people have lost their lives after a severe cold snap hit northern India, disrupting life in the infected areas. Vegas gets snow while storm strands California drivers. It says highway turned into icy parking lot. Storm heads to Washington after snowing in the south. They always say this, rare. It's been snowing in Vegas and in Florida and in the south for like the past 4 years. So it's not really rare anymore, is it? A rare white Christmas in parts of America's South was complicating life for some travelers. I like to always do that, for some travelers, meaning that the majority of them were all good and fine, as airlines canceled hundreds of flights while snow was predicted for the nation's capital and travel authorities warned of potentially dangerous roads. So we're going to keep moving on here. Floods, landslides kill 5 in the Philippines. Man, that looks pretty rough. Floods and landslides have claimed the lives of at least 5 people in the Philippines, forcing thousands to flee their homes in the eastern and southern provinces. The weather's really been wreaking havoc lately. Have scientists discovered how to create downpours in the desert? This is from January 3rd. This is from today, and it's from a mainstream news source, the Mail Online, coming out of the UK. It said technology created 50 rainstorms in Abu Dhabi's Al Ain region last year. For centuries, people living in the Middle East have dreamed of turning the sandy desert into a land fit for growing crops with fresh water on top. Now that holy grail is a step closer after scientists have employed the ruler of Abu Dhabi claim to have generated a series of downpours. 50 rainstorms were created last year in the state's eastern region using technology designed to control the weather. So we move down here, and look at what we got here. We got little heart-type towers, or just basically little towers, right? And says here, ionizers produce charged particles into the desert air. And then negatively charged ions rise with the hot air and attract the dust that they're spraying. Moisture condenses around the charged dust. Eventually, this turns to clouds, which produce the rain. This is what they're doing over your head as we speak. So, yeah, it's definitely something that's been going on since planes were invented in the 20s. They were modifying the weather. I'm watching movies now, Western, because I've been in the Westerns lately, where there's movies from the 60s, the 50s, where I'm seeing chemtrails. So, I mean, it's it really, and I read about it going back to the 20s and actually 1918. But I didn't want to believe it. But it's true, It's true. You just keep an eye out for those chemtrails in the movies. You'll see them all the way back to the 50s and the 60s. So, and this right here is, you need to check this out. Declassified New Zealand Defence Force reports reveal chemtrail linked to outbreak of illnesses. Among recently released assortment of declassified reports of sightings of unidentified flying objects from New Zealand dating from 1952 to 09 were letters written in 99 and 2000 by a concerned citizen who predicted that an outbreak of illnesses would occur after a, quote, aircraft contrail, otherwise known as chemtrails, was seen over the populated area. Chemtrails, which are also commonly referred to as aerosols, I'm not going to go into that. You should know that. If you don't, check it out. Here it goes. Here it says, reveals that chemtrails are used for at least 7 functions, including weather control, military applications, that's what we were talking about with jamming communications, that's weather modification, and or compromise of a wide variety of harmful ingredients, that's the eugenics, aluminum, barium, and yeah, so a lot of people are going to have respiratory problems, and we'll never find out, will we? Maybe about 50 years down the road after everybody's had the eugenics carried out on them, and it's too late to do anything about it, they'll come out and disclose it. Australia floods larger than France strand 200,000 crocodile snakes are danger in flooded Australia. And we're going to keep moving here. Earthquake hits northern England. This is from today. An earthquake hits home across the north of England on Monday night, weeks after a similar tremor in Cumbria. And so a lot of seismic activity. I covered this last video. 2010 polls, Obama most admired man, Palin tops religious newsmaker. And it's my belief that Rahm Emanuel will be the next mayor for Chicago. I said that about, 3 months ago, and that Sarah Palin, there's a very good chance that she'll be the next Republican president, GOP president. U.S. air raids kill 1184 in Pakistan in 2010. 700 NATO soldiers killed in 2010. New firefights. Deadly Afghan year takes toll on 101st Airborne. Nearly 1 in 5 American soldiers killed in 2010 has been part of the Screaming Eagles. Next year's wars, you can come and check this out. It goes through all the different places. Colombia, Haiti, Zimbabwe, Iraq, Venezuela, talking about the Sudan. I think they even, Mexico, of course, Guatemala, getting into, there's Haiti, then Tajikistan, that's a new one, and then Pakistan. Link will be posted. Afghan violence to rise in 2011. Auto recalls set record in 2010. 2011 economic apocalypse for the U.S. 2010 deadliest year in Mexico drug war. Russian 2010 oil output hits post-Soviet record. Arkansas officials stumped as birds fall from. Here's the other articles talking about the birds. And you don't have to believe in everything that Stuart Swirlo says, but he says right here that it seems more like a microwave pulse to me. Swede told he had cancer and forced to have penis amputated following a year of misdiagnosis. This is GGN. I'm Darko. Thank you.